Today's guest is Osman Sultan. Osman is a legend in the telco industry.
Was and is a beautiful story. I am known of being the CEO who had his fingers completely in the communication.
If something wasn't sitting well with you inside, would you have left?
Yes.
Osman,
Yes, sir.
would you have left?
Yes, sir. Put too much of control because out of fear, and you just paralyze the company.
Oh wow, you're on the roll.
I like this game. I like this game. You're breaking my heart first. No one want to be the next Osman. Well,
I do. I said I want to.
Did do more for you, or did you do more for do? Come on.
How good a question is that?
is it worse to compromise when right or be inflexible when wrong? Oh.
I can't believe I'm going to ask this question, but what were you listening to in the shower this morning? Today's guest is Osman Sultan. Osman is a legend in the telco industry. His most notable role was as the CEO of Do, a position he held for an astonishing 15 years, and a position where he transformed the UAE's telco monopoly. Osman has won countless individual awards due to his leadership success and has mentored at least 29 other people to become CEOs in their own right. At 67 years of age, Osman remains active as an investor, as a chairman of multiple boards, and he's also writing his second book. If you want to know what it takes to become a high-profile and public figure CEO in this region, you've come to the right place.
Around the natural means of communication. Here we are saying the word, communication, because of the need of mankind to link, to communicate, to interact. This is why you have civilizations around shores of oceans, along rivers, along roads, in between mountains and in valleys. How many times in a week or even in a day don't you hear people around you saying, I have the impression that everything is changing so fast?
Being connected is a basic human right. That could carry a lot of possibilities and opportunities to make the world a better place to live.
Every service that telecom company used to offer exclusively is now offered by new players through a totally different business model.
Osman, welcome.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here with you, Luca.
It's a real pleasure to have you in my house. Real pleasure, Amjad. And I've just found out we're neighbors. You literally live around the corner.
We're literally around the corner.
How crazy is that? I've never bumped into you.
Small world?
It is a small world, is it? Do you have a dog? Do you walk dogs like everybody else around our neighborhood?
No, I don't have a dog.
Okay.
I walk around the house sometimes.
Yeah.
I try to do some,
A little bit of exercise.
a little bit of exercise. Not very good in it, but
Yeah, no. You're obviously a neighbor. I love Jumeirah, but you've been in Dubai for quite some time. This is almost like your second home, but you have other homes as well around the world.
That's a very interesting story. My life is rooted in 4 cities. Rooted. When I say rooted, is not, okay, I lived for a couple of years or even 10 years. Rooted in the sense in 4 cities. The journey, Beirut, until the age of 17, 18. Paris, then studied and started to work. Egypt. And then, since in the last 20 years, Dubai. Dubai is becoming a very significant part of that journey.
Yeah.
So it is a second home. It is certainly a second home.
On my introduction to you, I called you a legend of the telco industry. How do you feel when someone says something like that about you?
In the current world, very fast changing, and with what people are in, and helped by technology are making, we have to be very humble. We have to be humbled really by all what's going around. Legend, I don't know. I don't know what's the definition, but I believe, I try to believe, even if my modesty could be a little bit, scarred if I say that I changed certain things, took them to a different place, and anticipated a bit.
I agree with you. Like, there's a lot I want to talk to you about, but I usually start my show by asking my guests about their mug. You know, they bring in a piece of home.
Yeah.
So talk to me about it. You have 2 mugs here. So what's going on?
Not for the sake of, being different.
Yeah.
Years ago, on the north coast of Egypt, where I have a home and where we used to spend, and we spent part of vacations. Family spend much longer period. I just go weekends or time. My daughter took a photo. I have 4 boys and 1 daughter. My daughter, who was absolutely fond of taking photos, took a photo of me and the 4 boys walking on the beach.
Yeah.
So, and she made this mug. So I really love it. If you told me your favorite mug. So
Yeah.
certainly my favorite mug.
Yes.
But then you added the one you use every day. Because it's my favorite mug, I was so afraid that, it breaks or something happens. So I just keep it.
Yeah.
I look at it and I use just a regular mug in my everyday life to drink my coffee in the morning, etc. Very simple, functional, because it has a double.
It does the job. It does the job. It's simple.
It's simple.
Love it. So this, I have a habit of stealing my guest's mug.
Or you can steal this one. Certainly. You know what? You can steal this one, and to make it practical.
I have some.
I'll get you a box of 6. I think, come on.
I tell you what, because we're neighbors, maybe you can lend this for like maybe a day, maybe 2 days. I'll give it back to you.
A day.
You know what? I'm collecting them, as you can see. I'm collecting them behind me.
No, I will.
I have also, we've created something specific for you, which is, when I look at your bio and I put in certain things, AI gives me certain images, right? And this is what it was basically telling me about you. It includes awards up there. It includes obviously your time at Do. It includes obviously leadership, advice. And it's supposed to represent you can see Paris, you can see the Eiffel Tower in the background. So it's also supposed to represent different cities that you've had big impact.
We can see Burj Khalifa, we can see the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah. And there's a book in there because obviously you're writing your second book at the moment as well.
Yeah.
So Osman, look, I by the way, you mentioned your kids. You like I said, you have 5 kids.
I have 5 kids from 3 marriages.
3 marriages, yeah, okay.
I have 1 wife. I'm fortunate to have
amazing
wife, companion, partner.
And just before we conclude on the mug, is your daughter your favorite because she's the only girl?
Oh my God, that question, Luca! Come on, how could you answer?
This is becoming a social reel right now. Right.
She's my only daughter.
Yeah,
we've been very close, but with each and every one of these children, and they are from their age range from 36 to 20, and they're so different.
Mm.
I have the engineer. My daughter is the doctor. She's a doctor. The third one graduated from both a legal degree and a management school in France. The fourth one is in finance. He works now in a bank. And the last one tried himself in professional football. He is the athlete in the family. Tried himself in professional football and now trying himself in some startups and things related to sports, etc. So
you didn't answer the question.
This is not a question that you can answer.
I know it's not.
Because every parent will tell you, "Oh, I don't have a favorite. I have a special relationship."
Look, I've been trying to convince my wife hopefully to try for a third. We have 2 young boys. Okay, we came late to the party when it comes to children, but I would love to have a girl. But it's the potential but danger of having 3 boys. My brother has 3 boys. Is always in the back of my mind. Would you advise going for number 3?
Always.
Okay.
A child is a blessing, but is a responsibility.
I mean, 5 is a lot. You're smart. 5 is a lot.
5 is a lot.
It's a lot.
5 is a lot.
Before I ask any other questions that may be too personal or not, I usually ask my guests also for a safe word in case they don't want to ask. So I don't want to answer something. What's your safe word?
Listen, this is a word I like.
Yep.
It's the word balance, but don't stop me if I use it.
Okay.
I will answer
Amazing.
wherever you want.
I love that. I love that. Why balance? Why is it so important?
Why balance? Because in a world where extremes are possible very quickly, in a world that is going and technology is contributing, whether it's social media, whether it's AI, extremes are easy. Balance becomes more of an important value.
When do you start to realize this importance?
You know, one day a man told me, we were talking about, and it just happened that this man is a man of religion. We met just because he was introducing a phone application at the time of Egypt in Mobinil, where people could just answer questions about, their Islam. He is a person who was in Al-Azhar, university, so he is a cleric. And in my office in Egypt, and I said, yeah, that is something good because that avoids different interpretations. And I said, it's balance. And he told me something, you know, this is the definition of virtue. He said to me, and I'll translate, وَمَا الْفَضِيلَةِ إِلَّا وَسَطْ بَيْنَ رَدِيلَتَيْنِ. Virtue is only a middle between two vices. Courage is a virtue. If it exceeds, it's recklessness. If it lacks, it's cowardness. Generosity is a virtue. If it lacks, it's stinginess. If it exceeds, it's just, waste.
Stupidity.
It's a waste.
Yeah.
So that really made me think, and I realized that balance is a very important thing, and that actually in a lot of decisions we take, we always seek a balanced decision. So
the leadership typically try and find a balanced decision, or do you find that
in everything, in companies, control. This is a question that is always, and this is where the leader can put too much of control because out of fear, and you just paralyze the company. Leave it completely, and it's totally leave it without control, and then and this is a debate always with audit committees, with governance layers that their role is to, and management people, or your salesperson who doesn't want all these constraints that you put on, and I'm sure in banks it's even with all these KYC, etc. Balance.
Yeah, I hate to ask the cliche question, but everyone asks this question to people who have been there, done it, and achieved what you've achieved. What is good leadership?
Good leadership.
Or effective leadership. What is effective leadership? Because they may be two different
That
things.
could be, for me, it could be different.
Yeah.
Because there could be very effective and ruthless leadership. Maybe this is what some people need to do.
Were you ruthless?
No. And this is what I was about to say. I was in peace with myself in these 24 years being a CEO. And when people told me, but you're a people CEO, this is probably the best reward. Now, if this was the case and I didn't provide value to my shareholders, I'll feel a little bit. But actually, both in Egypt, in Mobinil, and in Do, I provided value that they all praised me for, and that's the rewarding thing. But as well, the people that work with me always tell me, you made a change in our life.
I have an elephant over my shoulder. You can't see it, but it's the elephant in the room. Typically speaking, would you, outside of your organization, what do you think people saw when they heard your name, when they'd see you from afar? What was your reputation outside of the walls of Mobinil and also with Do?
Again, a person caring about people.
Was that active positioning branding that you were trying to adopt?
No, the branding is more of a person who sees and frames things happening. Don't forget, Luca, that I was in the midst of real transformation that affected everything. When I started, in the mobile in Egypt, people were not even imagining. That was only about being connected. That was only about being, this marvelous thing of being able to reach somebody and to be reached when you are not at home.
Mm.
And after sending messages, started with this. Imagine, and for my elder children, when they were 10 and 12, that was the huge thing, that thing, and you can call when people are away, and then see how they deal now with everything. Then the internet, then mobiles and the internet, this combination. And I saw these things and I was passionate about that. So people, I hope that people saw this passion.
Yeah.
People saw the storytelling.
Yeah.
I'm a storyteller.
When you look, Do is a great story.
Do was and is a beautiful story.
It continues to be. How when you see the advertising for Do, how does it make you feel? When you hear people talking about Do, whether positively or negatively,
Yeah.
do you still feel that patriarchal, paternal sort of?
Of course. It's one of my babies. It's one of my children, even Mobinil in Egypt. And I have a group with, people who were and still are in Mobinil, and that bond still exists, of course. Of course. Now, the advertising of Do, you touched a point, and you're a man of advertising yourself, You lived in this world. It's very dear to my heart because I am known of being the CEO who had his fingers completely in the communication, the positioning, the brand. Let me give you an example. I believe that one of the things that made Mobinil apart at that time, apart in this world, this part of the world, but more generally, and that actually is a turn in my career, is I insisted, and I came with the slogan, a mobile in the hand of everyone. Al-Mahmoul biyad al-Jami'. In Egypt, they call the mobile al-Mahmoul. And that was an act of faith. That was for a country like Egypt, 95 million at the time, people, challenged GDP per capita, going through, and all the... That was a promise of prosperity, a promise of something better for everyone. And that was a positioning that changed everything.
Yeah.
At the time, I was even questioned by my own company. I was questioned by what is now Orange. No, this is over-promising, all the math. GDP per capita, purchasing power for, the Egypt. I said, listen, it's going there. That should be. And when coming 8 years after, in 2005 here, and being assigned to start setting up Do, the slogan, add life to life, which is, we're not anymore in being just, the connectivity. We're not being, you reach and you can be reached. It's, remember, at the time, Facebook was in its infancy, and it's really in the beginning. So that thing where you have apps and you use for everything you do in your day-to-day life was not there. But it was the positioning. When I said, no, this is going to, we're not anymore in the mobile and I came to a country where penetration rate was the highest in the world. So it's not that...
This is Egypt, which has very low half of penetration.
Yeah, at the time, when I entered Egypt, penetration rate was 0.01.
Really low.
There was 35,000 active users in a country of 95 million. When I came to the UAE, penetration rate was 100%.
Yeah. But you had a completely different challenge.
So it's a totally different positioning. But 8 years after, a lot happened. We were entering a new world, and add life to life, because we were bringing life to everything in life. We were adding life to music. We were adding life to entertainment. We were adding life to financial. We were buying, and we were adding life to doing things.
Yeah.
That took it to completely different.
Yeah, it became a lifestyle brand more than just a telco.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
When you, going back to the promise that you made, because there's a lot on what you said that I want to sort of unpack. You mentioned that you wanted to put a phone in everybody's hand, right, in Egypt. That's a that's a borderline political statement.
Absolutely.
It's not a statement made by a CEO of a private company. So how big a role is politics in the leadership that you've had to undertake in both the major territories?
You know, when you are in something as embedded in the core of the economic development and of a nation, like telecom infrastructure and telecom services. Come on, today it's at the heart. This is not. It was not a company doing textile. With all the respect I have, you know,
it's ingrained into the fabric of the
entire. Initially, the entire infrastructure fabric, economic fabric, and then later on social fabric. Today, come on, social media and everything. It's the social fabric. So when you are in this, you are in public life. You are totally in public life. And people saw me as, you know, I was a public figure in the sense that I am not the CEO that stays in his office and have the meetings. I was presenting this vision. I was the storyteller of this vision. And when you tell, the story has to be the same. You tell the story to your employees, but you highlight a certain angle. You tell the story to your customers, it's a different angle, but it has to be one story, a consistent story. You tell the story to investors. You tell the story to regulators. You tell the story to your shareholders, you know, and that's the role of a CEO. He is at the intersection of the employees, the shareholders, then all the economic partners, and then media, from customers to distributors, then media, universities, regulators, the press, etc.
How come you never got into politics beyond in the private sector?
Oh, how come I didn't? My name at 3 occasions and the constitution of governments in Lebanon came and was mentioned and came into the media. So I was, but you know, Lebanon is a troubled. It's not that something that I wouldn't consider. I like public life. I like the thinking of public matters, framing and thinking. I don't like the, you know, politics and parties and partisan things because in Lebanon, unfortunately, this was.
But so, Osman, you must have played a lot of politics to get to where you were in the industries, whether it was in France, whether it was in Egypt, whether it was in Dubai.
I'm sorry, Luca, if you think that fighting for what you think is right, fighting for what you think is right, for some ideas and, you know, working hard for this, it's not politics. I was not very much into the political agenda, you know, that happens sometime in the corporate life. And that very often are really something that brings down corporations. Rather than ideas, it's, you know, clans. And by the way, I'm even when you see this region, this entire region, for instance, in Lebanon and in other countries, surrounding countries in the Levant, the logic of clanic belonging killed completely the logic of development. I give you the opposite example. This country where we are now doing the UAE, 7 emirates. They decided at some point, why? And they created United Arab Emirates. See in the last 40 years. See the milestone in history of civilization that happened. I consider, you know, like you have some shift in the hubs or the center of the world. Financial world moved from Netherlands, then to UK, then to the US, etc. There are shifts in the history of civilizations. At some point, it was Cordoba in Andalusia. At the time, the glorious time of, you know, the Arabs. I believe something like that, this perfect storm where you don't know exactly how this happened, but all things came together. And this is how the UAE today is.
It's a lesson. It's a lesson. It's a lesson to the rest of the world.
It's a lesson in the history of civilization. It's a lesson in history,
But Arabs have never typically helped and supported each other. The Arab nations, they've never been united. They've been very much nomadic.
of ethnic belonging.
Yeah.
Logic instead of, and this is why balance, thus wisdom.
Yeah. So you talk a lot about juggling 3 balls, right? Which,
So you remember this?
yeah. So you have the one ball, which is, I like, by the way, we're getting to this very soon. Wealth, health, and
Time.
time.
No, that was on a specific matter.
Okay.
That was on a matter when my late father, we were coming back from Paris, where my late mother had to do a heart surgery, and her mobility was different. And since my life is rooted in 4 cities, my younger kids, who live now in the UAE, who have lived almost all their life in Dubai, they are used to, our 4 homes in these 4 cities. So my Salim, my son, asked his grandfather at the time. He was 13. Not his grandfather, my son. He asked him, Jiddu, when are you coming to see us in Dubai, or are you coming to see us in the north coast of Egypt? And my dad, who started to feel that, traveling, etc., told him, Habibi, now it's finished. Those who love me will have to come and see me here in Beirut, in this house, on this chair. So Salim got anxious because and he came and said, Dad, when you will be the age of Jiddu and you will not want, or you will not be able. So he framed it very well. It's not that, it's the capacity to travel and go, which of our houses you will sit in so we come and visit you? Fundamental question.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, because I sometimes ask this or share this with some friends who have been, they connect to this. It's relevant in a world where people move from one city to another,
Yeah.
Where is the end game, if you want?
Yeah.
And that brought me to a model where actually I thought, well, we spend our life juggling with 3 balls: time, health, and wealth. Wealth, not necessarily bank account and, properties, but everything that will make you consider that this made my life rich.
Yes.
That's wealth, the real wealth. Starting from, your relations with your parents, your relation with your children. How many of these very wealthy family, and we see the dramas that happen, between parents, children, etc. There are Netflix series on this, Succession is one.
It's great.
And by the way, and there are stories in real life.
Yeah.
We all heard about the story of the richest woman in France and in Europe, Mrs. Betancourt, and the drama that happened with her daughter, etc. So, wealth, things that you love, things that make you feel, look back and say, I had a rich life.
Yeah.
So we juggle.
Yeah. And you need to find that balance, like you mentioned before.
A balance. Thus now you understand my
Yes.
affection for balance.
And you can never hold more than 2 balls at one time.
That's the story.
Yeah.
You hold, when we are kids.
I love that.
Really, when you are really kids, the matter of wealth is not, even if you're in a very
obsessed with money. People, when they're younger, for them, they don't care about the time. They care about
So we have time.
So you should solve the time, 100%.
We have health, unless, God forbid, some, genetic thing. But we don't worry about, what are we eating? I'm not going until, mid-teenager, then your parents start, what are you going to do? You need to have this, you need to have a life, you need to, so you start worrying, am I going to study? No, I don't want to do this. No, I want to do this. I don't like that. How much you don't like that? In societies, you need to be a doctor or an engineer. used to be the time. Now
Things are shifting.
Now your parents will advise you be an influencer or a blogger. Much more.
Start a podcast.
It's not.
You've got so
I'll start.
So look, I have a lot of questions in here that are specific to that I really, really want to get to. But the last question before we get to it is, look, I used to have again, elephant in the room. I used to have a terrible experience with Do. Terrible. Customer service, it was known for, but I got here in 2010.
Yeah.
2010 until about 2018, I think I was with Do as an operator. Didn't enjoy my time. And I really struggled with customer service. And you must have heard this time and time again.
Yes.
How conscious were you of the perception during that period? I don't know how it is now, but during that period, and how much responsibility did you have personally on your shoulders to try and fix everything?
Listen, responsibility, straight answer. I'm the CEO, I'm responsible. If you're not happy, I'm responsible.
It's a lot to carry.
It's a lot to carry.
It's a lot.
And this was my nightmare. We had a good network. We had a good, dealing. But in some technical issues, the system was... And the last thing I did is really transform or start, because they continued. The good men and women working there continued, transform the IT.
Yeah.
It's about the IT systems, etc. So I realized, yes, I heard it from time to time, but thank God, sometime I heard very, very good things as well. When you had something like 8-9 million, believe it or not, we had something like close to 7-8 million customers. Of course, this changed because you always have these cases. But to your question, how responsible? Totally, 100%. I considered myself responsible. My wife used to tell me, I still remember one day a call at 3 a.m. and you jumped. I woke up and you said, what? And there was, in the beginning of Do, and the beginning coverage was the issue. And we had an outage in Abu Dhabi, and with all the skepticism of some people, your network, etc. And she told me, I thought something will happen to you.
Like life being threatened.
I jumped in the car, went to Abu Dhabi in the middle of the night in order to be with the people who were trying to, or even went before going to Abu Dhabi, I went to the center. We had this control center to be with the guys. I didn't want to stay home, wait for news on the phone. So this was, now that I think about it, this was one of the best times in life. The beginning of Do and the beginning of Mobinil. Wow.
If you could go back and change one thing, would you change anything?
I will change certain things. I will take certain decisions. For instance, I told you about, having IT system and start. We called it the green field. I would do it much earlier. I'll be bold. I'll push to do it, to do the investment, etc. Because you know what will happen.
Yeah. The show is yours now. Take the bag. There are 8 questions inside written on golf balls. Go for it. Good luck. I thought long and hard about this. Hi everyone, I really hope you're enjoying the episode so far. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Throughout my career, I've met a lot of people that have anxiety when it comes to public speaking. If you're someone that has that anxiety or nervousness and has always wanted to be more confident in public speaking, but you're also not sure where to go or how to start, the good news is I might be able to help. I have 20 years experience working in corporate communication. I'm a former regional CEO and I've helped to win over 80 different clients through new business pitches. With so many online trainings based on theory, I wanted to share what's helped me in the business world. I've launched my own training program called Master Pitch. The 7-module course covers everything you need to know, whether it's learning how to really understand the audience, how to deliver real impact, or how to effectively storytell, I've got it covered. With practical tips and real examples, you can immediately start turning that anxiety into confidence. Also, in a world of AI, there's never been a more important time to invest in your personal brand and in developing your public speaking. For more information, go to lucaallam.com or drop me an email at info@lucaallam.com. Right, let's get back to the episode.
Business prioritization, frameworks, and structure of fluidity and flexibility.
So what is it really about structure and framework? And the other one is about business fluidity and dynamism and flexibility.
Yeah.
So where should really be the priority be? Because they both have merits.
Okay. Speaking about frameworks.
You love structure. You love structure.
I love it. So one thing is that organizations are structured vertically, traditionally. So I think in Do you have the network, IT. Then you have the marketing comm is the sales, you know what you call people call customer service, finance, HR, etc. It's traditional. New things emerge for data analytics, starting with data analytics, the importance of data.
I mean, telcos are the grandfathers of
Data analytics.
Oh, geez.
So you have the head of your network saying, listen, the amount of data I have in my network, I'm leading this. Customer service say, oh, I'm leading this. Then finance, who needs this? No, I have my own data analytics. So fortresses start.
Silos.
And by the way, this is something you face in the model we had. We worked with Smart Dubai on the smart cities. Smart cities are data coming from various entities in the city, but that need to flow. So I established, after discussing with some people, including, for instance, the CEO of GE Digital, who was a horizontal structure. But then what is the obstacle? Human resistance. Fortresses. The theory, Hegel, the German philosopher, of the master and the slave. If I need to consider myself a master, I need to have more slaves looking to me as a master. So the more I have, I feel more empowered. That is an obstacle. So we worked. AI, same story.
It's across
Right.
all functions.
Customer experience. Commercial entities, say customer experience, our job. But the network has to have an exposure to customer experience. Finance because as you said, customer experience of the customer is not necessarily on the network or not necessarily when he buys a line. It's the bill later on. And billing and finance has a role in the rules, etc. So customer experience has to be horizontal. So that is part of the fluidity. Second point is how much you empower. And how much you empower brings us to the matter of delegation. And I've given it a lot of thought, but not only thought, doing it with my delegation are 3 phases, Luca. 1, you explain, you handhold, and you control. Once you see that it's working, you explain and you control. And in some cases, you can just, if you have, some people work for you and that no need, you just tell them, explain to them, I want this. You know that this will be done.
They're the best people.
And
They're the best people.
And when you have a whole team around you where you reach that level of delegation, this is an A team. This is a winning team. This is the Harlem Globetrotters at the time of their glory. But that's a progressive thing. You don't, just theoretically because you read it and you... I noticed sometime that because my explanation, maybe he didn't understand well the thing. How many times people read the headline, the same headline?
They misinterpret it.
No, each one has a different
view. They misinterpret it. One
point.
Yeah.
I have a joke on that, but
what's the joke?
I have a joke, and I said this joke in one of my conferences.
Okay.
I said, how many times people heard the same sentence and understood it differently? For example, I said one day to a friend, you know what? My wife is an angel. He looked at me and he said, lucky you, mine is still alive. So
we were talking about if you're building a company now, 2025, is it important to build a structured framework and process?
Of course.
Or, devil's advocate, the fluidity of AI right now, And the disruption that's bringing to every business means that there's no longer those, as you said, fortresses or silos. Everything is broken down. You need to think, you need to smile and finance. You need to think.
Still need to build a structure, but it will not be the same structure because you will put AI, you will put what AI brings. Of course, but you still need to build the business processes.
Business process is one thing, but the structure of an organization.
The structure of the organization has to have, it can be a very fluid using AI. Of course, it has to be a different structure, but you build it, of course.
Yeah. You've been obviously doing this for a long time. If you were starting out brand new as a CEO, because look, you get better as a CEO after 15 years. I'm sure the first year, you weren't as good as your last. Whatever.
Oh, I think that the first year, the energy, but these are different phases.
It's different phase. But your experience,
you can be an excellent CEO at starting, and then when you reach the cruising speed, you are differently performing.
Yeah.
And then when you reach crisis mode or when you reach transformation, you can be different.
Yeah.
Performing. Because a good CEO, I think, can
different phases. Different phases.
CEO can perform differently in different phase of the life cycle of a company.
But sometimes the best CEOs, when they've taken the time away, right, and they come back and they're refreshed. So right now, you've done your 15 years of you come back, they invite you back, okay? And you're seeing things from a new perspective because right now you're involved on different companies, whereas AI, you sort of so you
talk about that.
Yeah, so you have a very different now type of experience. So if you're now the CEO of what are you doing? What are you doing differently?
First of all, I don't know what I will do differently because I know for a fact because most of these guys, I worked with them. The guys who are now at the helm of the leadership team, they're very good people. And I'm sure they're doing the right thing.
Should we do another question? Another ball?
Yes.
Ready?
More time, better health, or increased legacy wealth?
So more time, what would you choose? More time, better health, or increased legacy wealth?
It depends which phase. You have 3 phases.
Now.
Now.
You as Osman.
Now it's...
Would you want more time? Would you want better health? Or would you want increased legacy wealth?
Now, why I took that decision when I was still at an age where, you continue as a CEO to stop my executive life because of this. When framing things, I realized that you reach what I call the last phase where you are trying to catch health. And that phase, you don't decide. It can start for some, and I see some friends around me, unfortunately, it can start at 50, it can start at 60, 70, 80. May God give us as long as possible, but you need to. So I wanted a time before I reach this point, and we don't decide when. Our joints, our heart, our arteries, brain will decide when that last phase starts. But I wanted to have a period where I still have health and where I have time to enjoy whatever wealth I build. The homes I like to be in, enjoy my children, enjoy my grandchildren. So I said, stop my executive life. I didn't decide to stop working. I wanted to have control of my time, which I didn't have for 24 years.
More balance.
Yeah.
You wanted more balance.
The balance.
Yeah.
So at this phase now where I am, I want to more health and more time to enjoy and be able to leave legacy wealth.
But what is more important to you right now of the 3?
What is?
If you could only pick one.
But why? I mean, no, the 3, they're combined.
I know they coexist. I'm with you. They're
combined. They're combined. I want to enjoy legacy wealth.
For as long as possible.
Writing one book.
I can see I'm not going to get an answer for it.
I wrote one book. I almost finished with the second.
Yeah.
I don't think I hope I will find a publisher before the end of
Inshallah.
The year and on AI. We'll talk about that because you can't not talk about AI. I am seeing my children more and more. I am doing things. I have a collection of pens. I am trying to do, they're digitized. Now I've been 35 years collecting pens. So that's legacy wealth. Things that you enjoy, things that you leave. I'm talking more and more with my children. I'm trying to find the time. 10 days ago, we were in Paris and I had all my children and grandchildren. So that's legacy wealth.
Okay. Khalas, you're going for all three?
Yes.
All three.
No, legacy wealth.
Legacy wealth. Love that.
But for that, I need time and I need health.
Yeah.
So that as well, that's why. But the pick is legacy wealth.
Amazing.
As a CEO, do you prioritize personal integrity or company integrity? How can they be dissociated?
Wow.
How can they be?
One word, shareholders. Shareholders might want you to do something that compromises your own personal values.
Would it compromise the company integrity as well? Then they're not good shareholders and you have to stop.
That's a different thing, right? So you can't choose your shareholders. This is how it works, right? You get picked, you get appointed.
For instance, I'll take you an example. Let's imagine that without touching company integrity, but shareholders will ask you to do something wrong about one person. First of all, as a CEO, I believe you run the show. You're accountable for your shareholders completely, but they don't run the show. So you tell them this, if you can. And sometimes you have strong chairman, the relation chairman, CEO.
You're a young CEO, you're a new CEO, and you haven't proven yourself as much. After 15 years, I'm sure you can go to your shareholders and tell them what you want to tell them. Your first year, you're a bit more,
Listen, company integrity is fundamental. Fundamental. You can't, thank God, I've been 22 years CEO of publicly traded company. There was not one thing one day that came as a major thing,
scandal.
or a scandal or something. Thank God. That's something I'm very proud of. And in terms of personal integrity, I always, doing the right thing is the right thing to do.
Did you ever have a time where they competed with each other? What was right for the company wasn't right for you?
Oh, yes.
So how did you reconcile that decision making?
Oh, yes. It wasn't right for me because it puts me in a position vis-a-vis shareholders. It happened in Mobinil. It happened in Mobinil. I had two shareholders that had the claim of being two operators, and they were Orange and the Orascom group. Orascom was starting to spread. And one day I told them, and they had sometime, their own agendas, not wrong agenda, but, we prefer to use this supplier because we are used. So one day in front of both, I told them, I serve best your interest by serving the interest of Mobinil. This is a publicly traded company, and I have as well a fiduciary responsibility for the smallest shareholder as much as I have for you. You have to accept that, or you don't accept that, and then you. And both of them. But I've proven myself, and I knew that.
That's it.
So,
That helps.
Yeah, but I had the courage to say. I knew that they will not like it. So it doesn't help my agenda, my personal agenda, but I did it.
So
that was the company integrity.
So your integrity versus the company integrity. Most of the time they were always
that was the company. Yeah, most of the time.
Most of the time they were.
I said they cannot be dissociated.
Would you have walked if something wasn't? And this is because look, it's easy to say you would.
Yeah.
But would you have left a high profile position where everybody knows you, everybody wants your time? If something wasn't sitting well with you inside, would you have left?
Yes.
Osman.
Yes, sir.
Would you have left?
Yes, sir.
Takes a lot of
no,
courage.
Going
back to your virtue.
I'll tell you something. We were students, and there were certain things. And one day, a friend of mine said, "Why you like to do it?" And I told him something. I was brought up with, with the way my dad looked at me. And one day I told him, but there are certain things I cannot do because I would be ashamed of the way my dad looked at me. And even after my dad passed away, he passed away in 2020, I still think sometimes there are certain things I wouldn't do because if he would be ashamed, he passed away.
Yeah.
So this is a little, there is
Kind of sits somewhere on your shoulder.
there is one line of poetry in Arabic by a Palestinian poet called Mahmoud Darwish, and he said, وأعشق عمري لأني إذا ما مت أخجل من دمع أمي. And I love my life because if I die, I would be ashamed of the tears of my mother.
Beautiful.
How you are a little bit prisoner of the way somebody looks at you.
If your father was still alive now, what would he think of you?
Oh, he's proud. He told me that he was proud, and that made me, of course, sense of achievement and reward.
Amazing.
Did do more for you, or did you do more for do? Come on.
How good a question is that? Beautiful, good a question. Do you know what I've been doing? Like, I write my own questions for a long time, right? I have to say,
Here, you're good.
this. Look, I told my wife this is a question I've been dying to ask. Did you do more for do, or did do more for you?
The humility answer would be, and should be, and will be, do gave me much more than I gave do.
What did it give you?
Oh, it gave me the opportunity to, I'll tell you something. I went to some majlis after I decided to leave, and when leaving, in the course of leaving, and I had people who are leaders in this country coming and thanking me for these 15 years, which is really. And the sentence that I was saying was a medal on my chest, that journey in Do. And it's true. One particularly, I went to Abu Dhabi, and I had the privilege of, in the majlis, of going and thanking His Highness Sheikh Hamad bin Zayed. At the time he was Crown Prince, His Highness the President today. And I told him that sentence, sir, I'm coming to thank you because for the trust. You entrusted me in this, and 15 years, this was a medal on my chest. And the return of that, he told me, we were very lucky to have you.
Wow.
That's a reward.
Wow.
On all this years, that's enough. No, I know well people that are around him, and from the quality of the men that are around him, you can see what kind of man he's inspiring.
When you've obviously famously made 28, 29 people become CEOs in their own right. You've helped mentor them to become CEOs of their own companies.
Yes.
What do you look for when you're hiring someone? Like a senior level position, when you look at that person and go, you know what, can this person take my job? Can this person do what I do? What are the qualities that you're looking for?
Two things. I have a small model. You told me, you structure. I drew a square saying this is the person. And then I try to imagine the circle that is the job. If the circle is too big and the square is just, lost in the middle, that's failure, right? The guy cannot fill most of the job. If the circle is too small and the guy is over positioned, that's a waste. So these are the two cases that are easy. You can easily assess. Now you come to the point where that circle is on the edge of the square. Two cases. Either the circle is inside on the edge or outside. Outside meaning the guy will get bored quickly, right? So inside, the guy will be always, I call it the dynamic disbalance. The guy will always be disbalanced on his toes, but dynamically.
Or the girl, or on her toes. Boy or girl? Girl.
Of course. I'm saying the guy, no, absolutely, the candidate. To be, apologies for this. So that, there is no recipe, there is no right answer. Depending, when I started I wanted people on the outskirts of the square because I wanted them to be really confident they did it before. We were working in a very challenging environment. I couldn't, take the risk. Oh, they will learn a little bit. Later on, in a more mature phase, you can afford. So
I love that.
Okay.
It's an amazing insight.
that's the exercise.
That's amazing.
You brought me for this.
I love it. I love it.
Second thing, that's from a technicality point of view. Second thing, you said maybe he can. I had this, and a lot of people will remember saying, I tell him, listen, imagine that you are touched by the stick of the good fairy, and everything you wish will happen. Where do you see yourself in 15, 20 years? Some will tell me, oh, I would then have my own company. I want to know what's inside, what's the fire that is driving them. These are human drives. I had a person, Hindu, I asked her this, and she told me, I see myself as a minister. I said, great for you. I had a person saying, I see myself in your chair. I said, great for you. You need to have this. I had a person telling me, you know what, if I can, and I would like to become an artist. I said, great. This is not a test. There is no right. And I tell them, this has nothing to do. I just want to know you better. So these are the two methodology, the two small tricks that I use.
How long will it take you to size up somebody?
Couple of times I see this person.
Okay.
No, first of all, HR will help. Technical is not everything. The interpersonal skills and the drive are important.
What's your biggest strength as a leader? Look, I believe in strength-based focus. So I don't believe in trying to make someone better at things that they're not so good at. I believe in doubling down. What's your biggest strength?
3 modes of leadership. Leadership by authority. I'm not good at this. You do it because I'm the boss. Some people, they use this. Leadership by consensus. Terrible, specifically when you have to do things from scratch.
Yes.
And when time is, you wait until...
Too many cooks.
No. The leadership by consensus, terrible. So leadership by adhesion. You make people adhere to your idea. I'm good at that because I'm a good storyteller.
So
You
mentioned this a few times about storytelling. So what makes a good story?
Consistent. You see the various vantage point. There is a movie that I love where they show you the story in the eyes of the various players, and they repeated this notion, and it's called Vantage Point, actually. It's a normal action movie.
Action film, yeah. An action movie. It's a sniper movie.
Yeah, something like that. A sniper movie in the beginning. And so, but the format of looking at the same story from various angles and revealing it is, and that I learned from this. I was thinking, but this is what you do. Yeah. As a CEO, you tell the story in various.
Yeah, look, I love storytelling. For me, storytelling, you need 3 things. You need a beginning, middle, and an end. Every story has a beginning, middle, and end. You need a villain, and you need a hero.
You don't need a villain.
Oh, the best stories. I mean, Disney wrote the book on good storytelling. For every good story, in any movie, you'll always have a central conflict, central point of conflict. That could be a villain, it could be a circumstance, it could be something else, and then the hero will come and save the day. In your time, who is the villain and who is the hero? Was Etisalat the villain and to do with the hero? I'm trying to, because you want to build a narrative.
Yeah, of course.
Bring everyone together.
Yes, probably that at that time, all what you do is that to become the hero, and people were compared to a villain, but and usually the villain is quite established.
Yes.
Probably.
Yes, so I called it.
Probably.
Let's do another question. I love it.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Are younger workers redefining balance or just avoiding hard work?
So this is really about the next generation. Do you see, because a lot of companies now are struggling with retaining top talent. These 22-year-olds who come into their doors, they don't necessarily want to build careers anymore. They want to do something for 2-3 years, build some experience and leave. So is it because they are searching for something else, or is it mainly because they are just don't really want to work that hard?
I told you for this question, I am blessed of having 5 children at various phases. And I can see their aspiration, and I can see their modus operandi in dealing with things. The eldest, one of the best engineering schools in Europe, It's called École Polytechnique, created by Napoleon to build the elite of the nation. Then one of the best civil engineering, went to work into one of the big contracting companies, make his career happy, very structured, knows what he wants. The more you go younger, this new generation, these are the new generation. So 25, 22, 20. The more you go younger, no. They don't want the traditional path. They're looking for something else. They want to find passion, and I'm encouraging them. They want to find, they don't want to do the classical, boring things, and they work in a completely different environment. Salim, who's here with me, works in Citibank in Dubai. I was shocked because I see him home working very hard. He's always on the phone, conference calls, etc. But he told me, Dad, we don't have workspace.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's full. That's the policy of so. And I met at some point the guy who was the head of the media lab in MIT, Joey Ito. And he was saying, don't send your children to schools and university. So I think we need to prepare ourselves that the work environment and tomorrow, the knowledge environment, I'm not saying the education, I'm saying broader, the knowledge environment will be in totally different format. And I am now the chairman, but working, one of the co-founders, of a company that is proposing twin teachers, AI twin teachers that can interact completely with this knowledge, with the students, and that can, if need be, then the part that the teacher, the human teacher was with the interaction between. So, but on the other hand, I'm writing a book on the question that we need to ask ourselves vis-a-vis AI. So that is a schizophrenia.
What is the question you're asking?
How much are we letting go? The regular question, not only me, from Yuval Noah Harari to the people in Google to major people are saying, guys, we can't let AI, because AI, I mean, the Skynet,
It's out, Terminator, it's out of the bag. The cat is out of the bag, Osman, you can't put it back.
No, I'm not saying
It's not, it's done.
Did you hear me saying, as I told you, I'm working on something where I say to myself, am I among the people who were tiny bit of preparing the Skynet Terminator scenario? But on the other hand, I am saying there are missing questions. There are missing conversations. And for me, conversation meaning asking the right questions. Let me give you this example. That company that I'm working with is voice conversational AI. So it's meant for call centers. But somebody has to see what's the format for these call centers. We are talking telco operators, travel operators,
insurance companies,
banks, insurance, hospitality, anything. People who answer the phone. What will happen to these hundreds of thousands, millions of jobs? People, families. It's not.
There's an even bigger question.
It's not. And
what's going to happen to the organizations, to workforces? You've said it yourself. Kids coming out now, they don't want to have long careers in corporations. No one wants to be the next Osman. I wouldn't want it to be, but a lot of kids now don't want to do that. You combine the behavioral human aspect with the AI developers.
That's why
you have a potential breakdown of all organizational structures.
You're breaking my heart first. No one wants to be the next Osman. Well,
I do. I said I want to.
Yeah, no, but
back then,
I should. This is confirming I should have been an actor.
Yeah, fantastic.
I should have been an actor rather than going and selling films.
I had a guy on the show. Sorry to interrupt. I had a guy on the show, John Sane, season 3. He's a futurist. He's a top 5 futurist in the world. And he told me on the show, you can watch the episode, there's going to be a total breakdown of companies in the next 3 to 4 years. He said right now,
I bet he's totally in this.
Accountants, consultants, and lawyers are done now. So ChatGPT can do it better they can write better strategies than any consultant can do it. It can analyze more data, legal data and financial data quicker than any accountant or lawyer, and it's done. And that's just the beginning. So we're going to be in a world where creativity, acting, creating stuff, which AI can't do because it relies on data, is going to be where we flourish.
Luca.
Agree or disagree?
Luca, agree totally.
Maybe.
But the risk is we're training AI on creativity as well. You mentioned things. I'm going to mention asset managers. I'm discovering myself. I don't think that I come from that and I have the technical background. I don't. I'm a shareholder of a company that has AI wealth management. And it's called Wisdomize. Come on. It's the wisdom. What you can see is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So tomorrow, asset managers. So
everything.
This is the scary. Doctors. This is the scary part.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying, you said irreversible. There is no return.
It's done.
This is humanity.
Yeah.
We always
look for the next one.
We always do it because we can. Not because we need, because we can. That's this excitement. I'm doing something, I can do it, and this is going to make a difference. What difference? People will ask the questions after.
Yeah.
Hopefully. But before it is too late, and I take full responsibility, before it is too late, we need to think. We need to have conversation.
We need to ask the right questions, which I fully agree.
But having conversation today is because the answer is somewhere there.
Yeah.
ChatGPT will give it to you.
Yeah.
We need to ask the right questions. Even in education, for my generation, we needed to have the answers. We were, memorizing things and we were spending time in front and memorizing. Today, you don't need to memorize. ChatGPT, Google, they will give you the answer. The answer is out there. You need a culture of asking the right questions.
Yeah. Prompts. Beautiful. Let's do another question.
As a leader, is it worse to compromise when right or be inflexible when wrong?
What's worse? To compromise when you're right or to be inflexible when you're wrong? What's your quick answer, gut instinct?
Stubborn on the vision, flexible on the execution.
Kind of taking both. Okay, stubborn is, you're mentioning both. Stubborn,
on the vision.
Okay, stubborn on the vision. So you're very clear where you're heading.
If you are right on your vision, you keep it. Now, how you reach this in a world that is very changing in ways that are, in people that can have different points of view, you can be flexible.
But have you made a decision in time where you're like, I made a decision because I was doing the consensus. I wanted
Never.
You were always very...
I'll tell you something that I'm very proud of because it would have been the end of my career and very, very bad to do. I had an approval by my investment committee because at the time there was a technology called WiMAX, between the time that could do what the 4G could do. And I had people, and the technical team, etc., saying, we need to go because that will allow us to bridge the gap with Etisalat on the WiMAX. And I had an approval of, maybe 200 million, something like that, dirham investment to go there. Went to Barcelona. That is the big reunion of the GSM. This is the GSM association. So went there.
What's GSM?
GSM is the general standard for mobiles, which is what people used to in the beginning of phone. These were GSM phones.
Okay.
So I went there and I started to listen to some conferences, etc. And I said to myself, this is not going to fly. It's not going to fly. And I came and I said to my technical guys, I'm pulling the plug. Went to my investment committee, said, you very thankfully, but after I heard and I talked with some, I believe that this is not a standard that is going to fly and that we will be, kind of jumping on a train that is leaving the wrong station, going nowhere.
Wrong track.
Pull the plug. That was one of the greatest technical decisions because WiMAX died. So these are the things. I was right, because that vision is we need more capacity. When I was told 5G, I said, of course 5G. Well, we need to see them. Maybe not now, maybe tomorrow, maybe because you need to phase. Even if this is the right, so flexible on the execution, but stubborn on the vision.
It's great insight.
There will be more and more data. There will be a need for larger and larger pipelines. There will be a need for people. And this is not going to stop.
Really nice. We got 2 more.
Are telcos truly solving societal issues or just profiting from them?
Now, you mentioned social media
Yes.
as building as part, telcos are part of societal infrastructure. Social media has a lot of controversy, a lot of societal issues around it, how it's being used, especially by the younger generation, and its misuse. So are telcos riding that wave?
No,
They're not milking it
at all.
on the data packages and what they can offer and what they
At all.
provide?
What happened? Telco were born by governments. The fixed line. They were government entities. And the people working in telcos were engineers. Basically, all the heads of the telcos were just technical and engineers and doing this. When mobile came, it took that to a different dimension. It became part of the social habits. So it disrupted the pattern, I'm at home, people reaching me. That was just a service. And you know how they used to price it? It was the couple, I called it time and distance. In all the fixed line phones, you speak 2 minutes, you pay 2 minutes. You speak 10, you pay 10. You speak from Dubai to Abu Dhabi, you pay a certain price. Dubai to New York, it's different. So time and distance, let's time multiplied by distance, simple. So, and it was just a matter of, putting more lines, how quickly. Mobile came. In parallel, there was the internet. And the internet started by, being just a platform for exchange. It was scientific articles, etc. It existed in the scientific community. We started to go to the internet just to see an article like we go to a library. But when there is a place with footfall, what happens? The merchants start to get around. This is the way that commerce started since the beginning of, there was a place that was at the intersection of some roads. A guy comes, he has chicken, the other guy has vegetable, and they trade.
But I'm going to push you on this, because do you think the telcos are doing enough when it comes to warning about the dangers of overusing some of their data package, particularly when they know it's going to be used on social media?
But this is not the role of telcos.
It's not the role, but it is a responsibility that they have. Because let's face it, that everyone's aware of this.
No, hold on. It's like saying, without any obligation, that the cigarette manufacturers would put all the disclaimers. Regulators said, and this is why regulators are here. They're not anymore. Telcos are not anymore government entity. They're private companies. Mm-hmm. This is why people created, or societies created, regulations. So is it the decision of a country that we need to warn our people, we need to have some wisdom, and then they will force easily telco have a disclaimer, to put a disclaimer. It's not the role. Now, what you said, telcos missed the social media thing. Telcos should have done, and telcos are profiting. Telcos' margin are going down because there is not one service that telco used to offer, whether it's voice
or good old SMS.
Messaging. Where is the SMS? SMS is used for OTPs mainly.
I get that,
for one-time password.
That and announcements in the UAE for new doctors going to hospitals. I get a lot of SMSs about new doctors.
All these things, but most of the real messaging you're doing it on platforms.
Yeah.
WhatsApp and so on. So videos transmitted. So telcos try not to be reduced to being the pipeline, but
most of their revenue is still the pipeline. So they're focusing on this. All the telcos, literally all the telcos, are trying to take it beyond the connectivity. They're succeeding more or less. My idea at the time, in 2008, WhatsApp was at its infancy, was why don't we, as telcos, bring ourselves together and create what we call an over-the-top platform, one of these internet platforms. We can create it. Imagine the power that we could have had at the time because of the data of all customers. But it required that telco think and act as an entity because we are threatened, or they kept in their reunions in Barcelona, all of them, they kept, saying that at the time the chairman of the GSMA association say about the internet players, they want to share our gain, they don't want to share our pain. I said, okay, we want to still complain and, be defensive.
Adapt, do something.
But in parallel, let's be ourselves, let's go to their territory. The best defense sometimes is offense. We go to that territory. Didn't happen.
But
because of egos.
Yeah, but WhatsApp did kill a lot of telco businesses. In the UAE, less so, because obviously there's no voice calls allowed here, but which was smart. But generally speaking, it was a massive disruptor to your business. Do you see that's going to continue to grow, that disruption and the sort of disparity between using?
Yes. But as I told you, telcos are trying to move from the connectivity.
Yeah.
Not move away, but, do something else.
Yeah.
And how much is it in their DNA?
Yeah. They have to change as engineers. They need AI futurists.
It's changed. Yeah. Is leaving a corporate empire an act of bravery or surrendering influence?
So when we spoke, you talked about the 2-ring policy, whereby when you were CEO of Do, you could call anybody, and the currency, the return on investment, if you like, of yourself, of your name, was that they would answer within 2 rings. As Osman is calling, I have to answer. When you left as a CEO,
of course,
your world changed.
Yes. And I knew that this will happen. So I knew that you need to frame and I'm sure every CEO who was on the public space felt that, whether large corporation or even sometimes small corporations, when you still have, unless you're really intending to retire, you don't want anything to do. But as you can see, I really want to be in the picture.
Yes.
So it's being relevant. But I have now a different kind of relevance. When I speak AI, and I have something to say. I speak about other things, restructuring, digital, and I always had something, and I still have something to say. So it's now the formatting, but that's not very important.
But psychologically, going from...
I'll give you an example. The formatting, I used to go to certain conferences, and then you have one person from the organizer, the hostess. No, please, if I just come a little bit late and sit in the back. No, there is a seat booked for you in the first row. These seats that have...
comfortable seats.
So that, you don't have it anymore. Although, it's good to have that recognition. I still have some. It's going to fade. Unless I have a different way to be recognized, which I really would love more than because they were recognizing the function, which is fair. Yeah. Which is what I say. I have now people saying, I heard your podcast. Tomorrow people will say, I hear your podcast with Luca. And that would be, but it's fine.
Yeah. Does it bother you?
No.
Did it bother you at the time when you had all these close friends around you?
No, that matter of friends is different. When you realize that a person that was claiming a friendship and you go and he was befriending the CEO, because let's face it, telco companies are at the heart of a lot of things and they are spenders. I spent all my professional career, I was buying, never selling. It's a different mindset when I have to go to someone because I have to sell, because I have to present a company, I have to pitch something. I was not pitching.
Welcome to the pitching side. I've been pitching my whole life. It's not easy. It's not easy. But that's where storytelling helps. And your track record obviously will help a lot. When they know who it is who's behind the show, I'm sure that adds a lot of weight and a lot of gravitas to the proposition that you're presenting.
It's the most important thing. I am a man that enjoy intellectual conversations.
I can feel that.
I always like to read, to frame, and I want to enjoy. That's part of the wealth I want to enjoy.
Yep.
I have a person who is UAE national who once, they surprised me. He said, I said, but how do you define? He said, I'm a knowledge seeker. I'm a knowledge seeker. And good for him. That's really, and I consider, I always am looking for this.
When does knowledge become wisdom?
Oh, you know that in my presentation on the smart city, I said, starts with data, everything sensing, all these senses. You bring them together, data will become information, everything connected, then everything smart, because you put data analytics tools, you put AI, and you have the smartness. Sensing, everything connected, everything smart. Does it mean wisdom? Does smart mean wisdom? So from data to info to knowledge, does knowledge become smart? It's up to us. These are the missing conversations that need to happen. This is when we realize that all this data, all this AI is not a matter. It cannot happen just for this and for that. The frames, the rules, the needed things need to be taken at the level. But this is a multi-stakeholder. It doesn't mean that just regulators and ministries will decide. No. Industry players will have to be involved. Civil society will have to. Youngsters, the young people are making and breaking this, as you said.
Yes.
And the usage of social media.
Osman, I always end the show with a blank ball. There's no question. So you get to say anything that you want to say that you haven't said, any insights that you want to share, or you get to ask any question that you'd like to ask. The power is yours.
That's a powerful thing. I think that I cannot not mention, because the buzzword today is AI. The driver in a lot of things that human beings do, humanity, individuals or groups, is a balance between fear and greed. Now, fear doesn't mean, fear in this almost biological, and greed is maybe too strong, but between the need to defend and the need to have more. When it comes to AI, for the first time, because various technological disruption happen, from the wheel to, you name it, fire, electricity, etc. And people rightly say, but every time society adapted, because the pace of change and disruption allowed societies to adapt. Here, I'm not sure. That's on one hand. Says the person who is working and passionately about, so you see, this is why I talk about schizophrenia. But if I want to have integrity with myself, intellectual integrity, I need to raise these questions and these disclaimers. That's what is now occupying my mind, occupying me. So I asked the question, since you gave me the power of asking the question, should we let all these capabilities driven by fear, and then when it's too late, driven by greed, and then we realize, and then we're driven by, or from the start,
have some wisdom, and determine, have conversations. I don't know what these frames look like.
So do you know what my answer to you would be? Have a stubborn vision and have a flexible execution.
That's exactly
That's with AI.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Very nice. Osman, it's been a real pleasure having you on. It's been a real pleasure.
My friend, thank you for hosting me today. It was a real pleasure.
You're my neighbor. I'm going to see you soon. I'm not going to take your mug. You can take it back with you. It's okay. I don't want your daughter to be upset. But you can beat the other one. But Sanjay, it's really nice to meet you properly, face to face. You are a legend in the telco industry. You are a very humble man, and what you've contributed to this region, not just obviously UAE, but also in Egypt, has been phenomenal. So thank you from everyone. Really, you've done an amazing job. Really,
thank you for the quality of these.
You're welcome, my friend. You're welcome. If you liked what you saw, if you liked what you heard, please follow, like, subscribe, and share. See you very soon on Luca's Inside Track.